I'm Reg Hartner with an exclusive News Now bulletin. A Provasic animal testing facility in Boulder was the focus of an attack by a terroristic primate rescue syndicate calling themselves the Coalition for Liberation of Itinerant Tree Dwellers, or simply CLIT. In a videotape sent to authorities this morning, credit for the liberation of an orangutan from the lab last night is taken by these men, identified in literature that accompanied the tape as Jay and Silent Bob. In this chilling clip, they make it very clear that they are in control of the CLIT.
We are the CLIT. None of you are safe. Now tremble before the might of our merciless leader.
I am the CLIT commander.
Terrifying. Now, here to help us explain this footage is Federal Wildlife Marshal Willenholly. Marshal Willenholly, thanks for joining us. At this point, what can you tell us about the CLIT?
From the intelligence we've been gathering, we've discovered that the CLIT is actually a tiny offshoot of the labia.
The Liberate Apes Before Imprisoning Apes movement.
Exactly. Now, the two men that you saw in the video, they go by the obvious code names of Jay and Silent Bob. If anyone out there should come across them or any other CLITties, please exercise extreme caution.
See? I told you that restraining order was a good idea.
What response do you hope to elicit by putting this kind of pressure on the CLIT?
Well, it's a difficult situation. You don't want to rub the CLIT the wrong way.
Nights like this, I miss dating a lesbian.
Praise the Lord for bringing us this generous bounty.
Just give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Wait. I worry what you just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have.
Living flesh.
I guess that's about 56 minutes, huh?
Like me. Back on the menu.
That's why I'm hungry. Each word I say, farther into a radical lie.
No secret. It's amazing. Don't skip on them.
I'd buy that for $1.
Not that for me, please. I'm trying to get back.
Oh, look at me! I'm another baby!
Seem easily upset.
I'm so fucking hungry, Bill. I'm so hungry. I never knew anyone could be so hungry.
What about that time I found you naked with that bowl of jello?
Hello, folks. Welcome to the Movie Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Gary Hill. With you tonight are two fine gentlemen from the state of California. So it's a West Coast meets Midwest show, and I'm fine with that. One of which is Mike Merriman. How you doing, sir?
What is up? I am ready to seek the green tonight on the Cinema Beef.
Nice. How you doing? How you doing, Mike?
Oh, that was still for me. I wasn't sure when you kicked it to Venom. You can tell I'm doing it now.
Must be all that green, man. Come on now, you know.
Oh man, it's been a week. Just I'm glad that it's about to be Friday. Everything's winding down. Getting ready for the weekend, and of course, I'm looking at all the movies coming out, and it's like a kind of a lower tier release week. Not a whole lot coming out that I want to see, unfortunately. So I'll probably dig into like a collection of movies that I bought that are sitting on the table that I haven't had a ton of time to watch. Plus, I got movies to watch for some other shows that I'll probably mention at the end. So there you go.
That never-ending stack of movies that you should be watching, but you just like turn on something else instead. It just
Yeah, man, because it's like I get to the point in the night where it's like the downtime. I finally got some free time, and I'm like, if I put on like one of these 4Ks that, you know, you really want to watch in the maximum like pristine conditions, you want to be able to crank this surround sound, and then you're like, oh, man, I'm so tired. Am I going to make it through? So you end up just like finding something streaming because you know it's no big deal if you fall asleep to it.
Yeah, this is true. And also this from the great state of California, Mr. Venom. How you doing, sir?
Greetings and salutations, beefers. Yeah, I am doing very well, and I'm looking forward to talking about one of my favorite movies of all time. And then another movie that I've actually grown to love that I was a little indifferent to the first time I saw it, but over the years it's kind of warmed up on me. So I'll have some stories about both. How you doing, Gary?
Oh, I'm living, man. I'm here. Glad to be recording again. Had some delays, but we fill in the gaps, people, which is the great thing about the great world of podcasting, and I enjoy what I do. Here on a Thursday night, with you gentlemen, I will ask our panels. We don't talk to that much, and hopefully we talk to them more. Venom, what you been watching lately, man?
What have I been watching? Oh, you know what? I just went to the theater yesterday to see a brand new movie that just came out. Probably lands more towards psychological thriller than horror, which is my usual fare. But yeah, I watched Exit 8 last night out of Japan. A very, very cerebral, almost Lovecraftian. I might be overstepping my bounds a little bit saying Lovecraftian, but it kind of gave me Lovecraftian vibes just because of the unexplained nature of everything that's going on. It's basically the story of a man who exits a subway train and then finds himself lost in a almost endless loop of hallways throughout this underground train station. And, you know, he, along with other people that are trapped in there, have to figure out how to get out. And it's a really good movie. It's a little slow. Like the pacing is a little slow. It's a little repetitive, especially at first. Just because our main protagonist is trying to kind of figure out what exactly is going on, what the rules are, things like that. So, you know, the first act is a little slow, but once you get the general gist of what's going on, and as more characters are introduced, it actually starts to amp the mystery aspect of it a little bit. And yeah, I ended up really enjoying it by the end. I can't say that I 100% understand everything that happened in the film, but for what I understood and for my own interpretations of what happened, I actually really enjoy it. I highly recommend it. It's in theaters right now. I would imagine it'll be available in VOD in the coming weeks. That's Exit 8.
I've found most Japanese films, there's always going to be something culturally that I don't understand, within it. Yeah, I probably will never understand. So I'm used to like being slightly confused while watching like Asian cinema, but this one does sound, I hate to use the same adjective, but it does sound very Japanese in a sense of, the feeling and the theme. But I would like to watch this. It sounds kind of like Cube a little bit in a way.
Yes. It's got elements of Kubrick. Definitely, has like flavors of Cube in there. Also Creep, if you remember that, the UK Creep, not the American one with Mark Duplass, but the UK one in the subway with the creature that's down there. Not to say that this is a creature feature. It just, people lost in the subway kind of gave me that same vibe.
Yeah, I saw it too, and I got a kick out of it. I actually have the game that it was based on because a couple months ago they put it on the PlayStation Plus for free, and I intended to play the game first, and I just never got around to it. And after seeing the movie, I liked it well enough that I'm like, now I want to go back and play the game. And there also is a sequel to the game. The movie kind of leaves off, like, from what I've heard from people who have done both the game and the movie is a very like faithful adaptation of the game, and it actually kind of leaves off where the sequel of the game also starts. So like, I don't know if this movie's going to perform well enough for them to even want to do a sequel, but if they did, it's almost like so accurate as to where it is. So that's interesting because I did like the setup. It's definitely like that luminary horror, like a fixed setting. And it does, like, once it's based on a game, it does feel very game-like because you could imagine like controlling a player doing what this main character has to do. And I'm kind of interested in the game if the game covers kind of like the same theme and subtext, because the movie definitely had that going on with, like, you know, confronting the possibility of fatherhood, possibly trying to run from it and then embracing it at the end. And I have no idea if there's actually like story like that in the game or if the game's just more innocuous, but I'm interested to go find out.
I'm probably going to go ahead and check the Xbox network since I'm more of an Xboxer. I do have a PlayStation 5, but most of my online activities are on the Xbox. I'll see if Game Pass has Exit 8 because I am also interested in playing it now.
Yeah, and I heard there's multiple endings too.
Nice. So. I would imagine as a gamer, you're probably going to get frustrated at the same things that the characters in the movie were frustrated with. So.
Yeah, actually, correction, not multiple endings, multiple anomalies. So, like, when you play through it, different options of like what you're looking for.
Gotcha. Now that sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to it. The game, of course.
Anything else, Venom?
Oh man, what else have I been watching? I've been trying to catch up with a lot of the foreign stuff that I've been missing on Netflix lately, just because it seems like we've had a horror film in the theaters almost every other week since 2026 started. So I've actually kind of behind on my VOD. So I actually tried to catch up with some stuff. I watched a movie called Chromolio, which I believe is from Indonesia. It's currently on Netflix. It's actually from last year. It's from 2025, but a really interesting ghost story. Just a very basic, Asian supernatural, revenge story. Nothing ultra original, but what's in it worked for me really well. I like the spirits. I like the backstory of the quote unquote black magic practitioner in the movie. And then the ending was also very satisfying. So yeah, I had a good time with that one. That one's called Chromolio, Kromoleo. It's currently on Netflix, so I would recommend it. It's short too. I think it's like an hour and 20 or 25 minutes. It's a quick one.
Cool. That sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Michael, what you been watching, man? Mike is on mute. Maybe he knows it.
Yeah. I'm trying to look through my list because I got a ton to choose from, but I'll go with kind of like the most maybe interesting, goofy, but also well done movie from 1996. It's called, and this is my attempt at a pronunciation, Papi Gudia, which is the Bollywood quote unquote remake / ripoff of Child's Play. And the fact that it's 2 hours already tells you, there's dance numbers, but they go so elaborate and over the top of the dance numbers is actually kind of fun because these types of movies, a lot of times it's hard to sell people on them because the Bollywood stuff, the dancing, it can take you out of a movie because it's definitely like cultural specific. But I found them kind of fun and wacky, and the doll they use is like such like a non-scary looking doll. It's almost hilarious, but they actually put together some good sequences. Now, obviously, the budget and the resources they have into like doing the horror stuff, it's not as good. We're not talking like these full-on animatronic teams. So like it's a little more goofy when they do like the shots of like Chucky's, well, in this he's not called Chucky, but his little shoes walking across. And it's funny the way they replicate certain scenes so precisely where it's like, were you guys licensed to do this? Or is this just, we're just going to do it anyway. But yeah, there's like a whole series of Bollywood horror remakes that for what they are in their own kind of like universe and world, they're actually not a bad time, and they're kind of fun, and they actually put together the horror sequences pretty cool. It's just like the rest of the movie just kind of feels out of place if, trying to sell it to like horror fans as a horror movie. But hey, it's free in HD on YouTube, so like it's definitely like for something in the background, and it had the English subs are like good, and so I would say like if you're looking for something like kind of thrown on the background, at least give a chance to, because the opening the opening gets you right into like the actual opening of Child's Play with the robbery or the crime, the doll possession, and all that. So right off the bat, you can see what they're doing. So I say it's worth giving a shot to, and that's Papa Gudia.
Dumbala. To be fair, if you look at the history of Child's Play, they didn't steal the design of the doll straight from the My Buddy. They admitted this, so it's not like
That's true.
We saw the My Buddy commercial to creep people out, so we made a doll movie about it.
Didn't they? I thought originally I read a story that they actually reached out to try to do like a cross promotion, and My Buddy was like, "It's not happening because like we're not scaring our client base away."
It was My Buddy, and if they didn't need a girl version, the girl version was Kid's sister, I think it was. It's been a long time, but yeah.
I still remember the jingle and the commercials.
Yes, indeed. Anything else, Mike?
Let's see what else. I saw. Well, I don't really want to talk about Hokum because I know we're going to be doing a fresh cuts on it, but I did catch it at an early screening for mystery movie night. So I bought the 4K of Circus of Horrors from 1960, and for me, carnivals, circuses, traveling fairs, all that kind of stuff, it's one of my favorite settings for horror because especially the ones that really implement the like circus acts into the movie, even when it's like not necessarily horror, just kind of like the elaborate sets, the color scheme. And this one was in the Technicolor, was it? Yeah, Technicolor. And for whatever reason it is, that 60s Technicolor style, it really looks good on 4K. Like the colors are just vibrant and they pop off the screen. And I know like sometimes with older movies, like the 4K format, it does improve the picture, but it's not like leagues better than like a Blu-ray or a DVD just because of like whatever source film they're using. But for whatever it is, the Technicolor always seems to look really good. And so this one's basically you have a criminal that he flees from his city after getting caught. He accidentally gets his partner murdered, and it's France that he flees to, and he goes into a deal to take over a circus. And of course, what goes on behind the curtain is devious, and people or different acts start turning up murdered. And it's just a fun movie. Like I said, I'm a fan of all circus carnival horrors. To me, it's just such a natural setting because it's just, to me, it's naturally odd. And just the fact that like even in real life, it's like it almost feels like there's that kind of weird kooky family element to these operations because a lot of them are traveling the whole year, so that is like their home and their family, the circus itself. So it's kind of cool to see the dynamics behind the scene, even setting. So I definitely recommend Circus of Horrors.
It's one of the basis of my favorite sequels, Ghoulies 2. I mean, all those aspects. Well, all those aspects you're talking about, improve upon the first one, exponentially. So,
Oh man, when I was growing up as a kid, I almost disregarded the original Ghoulies because I loved Ghoulies 2 so much.
It was so long ago. I was on the podcast with Gil and Roscoe, and we did all the Ghoulies films. And this is a sidetrack, of course. This is a show, of course, people. And it's one of those series like Silent Night, Deadly Night that I love. Because with every installment, they just jump the shark into something else,
Mm-hmm.
Remember the last movie? This film was nothing like that last movie, Same kind of through line, but, nothing like the last movie.
Yeah, exactly. And the first Ghoulies is just, it's cool, sort of, but like, I don't know. The second one just feels like a much more complete, just awesome.
No, it's
horror
movie. Fun. I love it,
Yeah,
I love Ghoulies Go to College myself. I'm not going to lie to you. It's fun. It really is.
And to piggyback on Mike's point about Technicolor and 4K, I 100% agree with Mike. Right before we reviewed Peeping Tom on No More Room in Hell, I picked up that 4K, and wow, that image is gorgeous. The blood is such a glorious, vibrant, bright red, almost orange. The colors of the background. It is the absolute best that Peeping Tom's ever looked, and I've seen it many, many times. I love that movie.
As much as I don't like the film, it's been documented on many podcasts. Baba's Blood and Black Lace. I don't like the film as a geology; it's very boring. But the colors are very beautiful in the film, and I would like to see that on a 4K maybe one day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I bet it looks fucking pretty. Oh my gosh. Anything else, Michael?
I could talk for days with the movies I watch, but I'll leave it at that.
Okay. I'll discuss a few things. I watched the documentary on Hulu. It's on Hulu right now, streaming. Billy Idol Should Be Dead. It's a documentary about him and his career and his, punk rock upbringing to the rock and roll star, today. And of course, all the drugs that he did and all the infidelity he had and, leading to where he is now, which is much more healthier, happier, still rocking grandfather, who has children that he didn't know about that he's close with now. So if I want to watch a documentary about, Billy Idol, that's pretty well made. I kind of like the very anime style animax they put in the middle of the thing, intercut in. Not a lot to talk about. A lot of folks probably know about him and all the stuff, but it's very well made. It goes through his whole career as a musician up to today, and very complete. And I love Billy, so I'll watch a documentary about Billy Idol. I'll watch it every day. I love it. Good guy. Mostly just TV stuff. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I've seen that browsing, and I do want to watch it. It looks interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's very decent. Yeah.
You know who for like music related documentaries? I think HBO Max does a great job with their music box series. I've been happy.
Yeah.
Even when it's for artists that I don't necessarily like listen to a lot of, I got a super kick out of the Yacht Rock one. And I realized, hey, I actually like Yacht Rock more than I realized. Maybe I just wasn't sure all the artists and music that encompass what people consider Yacht Rock, and now I do. So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe I like it more than I thought I did.
Well, if you look it up, the guys from Toto by themselves, they played on so many other people's music. Anything from like Michael Jackson to beyond. They played on so many different tracks over the years. They were like session musicians in the studios. So I find that very cool. But yeah, I can't deny the Yacht Rock one, and I think I've watched the Bee Gees one probably a dozen times. I'm not gonna lie to you, because as much as I love the disco Bee Gees, I've come to appreciate the early stuff too. Where Robin did most of the singing, and I love I like the Bee Gees, and they I agree, they do some pretty good documentaries. All I got finished a bit the Billy Joel one, although the first half kind of leaves that bad taste in your mouth. I was like, yeah, Billy's kind of a piece of shit, man. He kind of like got with his creative partner's wife and said, this is my wife now. I'm like, yeah, you're kind of a dick, Billy. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Yeah. I have the Kenny G one is sitting on my list, and I'm like, I don't know, should I do it? Should I dive into some Kenny G?
Wasn't he like hardcore rock before he became like Kenny G now, or something like that? Or
to be honest, I don't know. I mean, by the time I was like of sound mind to know who he was, it was the jazz stuff. So he might have had like a lesser known career before that I just am unaware of.
Yeah, I think it's something like that, where he was way more hardcore than the jazz clarinet guy that you know now. It just I had to look that up. I've been collecting a lot of vinyl on live streams, and I've seen some pretty wild Kenny G covers of the past, and like, yeah, maybe I should check this out one day. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think my overall favorite one is I can't remember the name of it, but it talks about one of the earliest rock and roll radio stations in America, and this was back like early enough to when music, a lot of it was segregated culturally still in our country. And I thought a really cool part of the documentary is they talked about how like overseas, like Britain, they would pick up the station through like pirate radio signals. And so a lot of the kids over there grew up listening to rock and roll when the white kids over here still kind of weren't. And that's what kind of led to them like wanting to play rock and roll, which then led to the British invasion. So it kind of comes like full circle. And then of course the British invasion leads to like Americans learning like rock and roll, like building off like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, the Who, and like all Black Sabbath and all that. And it's just kind of cool how the music found a way to make its way around the world, even like when it wasn't fully accepted in like its own origin of location, you know?
Well, beyond Elvis, not just Elvis. If you listen to the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, they all want to be black in a way, because the Stones especially, they were straight up singing Temptations and stuff like that because they love that shit. But if you listen to Robert Plant's voice, like the moans and shit, he's just doing Muddy Waters is all he's doing. But that's
and the thing is, most of them all admit it too. Like they're not trying to hide it, because it's not like there's no like deception or deceiving or like taking credit for, because like you can go back and listen to like early interviews, and they basically name off like all the early like blues and rock and roll artists that inspired them. And like that late 60s, early 70s rock and roll sound, it's very blues based, like Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple. It's not till like later in the 70s when like the bands that were built off them, then you start to see the blues influence like fade a little bit. But that late 60s rock and roll, and even like the early prototype heavy metal like Black Sabbath, lots of like blues riffs going on.
I've been discovering bands through buying vinyl, like bands I didn't know or didn't listen to a lot of, and bands like Canned Heat, where everybody knows going up the country, but they don't know a lot more past that. But they should really explore more, because they have albums where they just fucking throw down, and it's fucking crazy. Yeah, I love it. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
What else? I mean, we can go on about music for fucking 3 hours, guys. I don't want to go on about that shit. I watched the Malcolm in the Middle revival series. Malcolm in the Middle, Life is Still Unfair. It's decent if you're a Malcolm in the Middle fan. I mean, everything was done, well, in a sense. I just think about 40% of it was unnecessary, but at the same time, as a major fan of the show, I still watch the show today. It's still very funny. It didn't have the crudeness really of the original show. I think that was missing. But if you're a fan of the show, they brought pretty much everybody back that they could possibly get for this thing, and I enjoyed my time with it. It ended up with a nice conclusion. Bryan Cranston is still the king of everything, because he can go from Hal to Walter White to Dalton Trumbo to anything. His versatility as an actor is phenomenal. I can't even talk about his range as an actor. He just it's great, and this was decent. Either one of you guys watch this?
I have never watched an episode of Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh,
the previous series or the new one. Yeah, I never got into it. I mean, I never even tried. I'm the kind of person that I watch a lot of series, and especially when Malcolm in the Middle first aired, it was, on television. It's not like they dropped whole seasons at once, so it made a little bit more difficult to be loyal to shows, when you had to wait week to week for an episode. So it was the kind of thing where if the first episode didn't grab me, I probably didn't make it to the second. Now, like I said, with Malcolm, I literally never, ever sat down to watch one episode. I remember seeing the commercials. I thought it looked mildly funny, but I don't know. It just didn't interest me enough to kind of sit down and want to watch it. But I mean, I love Bryan Cranston, so I probably should give it a shot.
Mike?
No, I mean, the most I saw of it, because I don't remember if at one time it would come on after The Simpsons or something in that block of programming, but sometimes like we would leave the TV on the network, but I never really sat down and watched it. Is the revival, was it meant as like a little mini series, or was it like
it was meant to be 6 episodes. Well, I think they could have shipped it down to a movie, in my opinion. But that's one thing. It just seems really extended more than it had to be. They could have did this in a movie, I think. But yeah, they're not doing much more because Cranston's obviously busy with so many things, and I think Frankie Muniz does NASCAR now, so his schedule is pretty tied up with the NASCAR thing. He drives a car for NASCAR.
Interesting.
So that's a career path he chose, and that schedule is very, very busy. So that was only meant to do like this small thing, and like I said, it is what it is. If you're a fan of the show, I'd say dive into it and give it a go. But if you're not a fan of the show, you have no idea who these characters are, I would say no. Don't do it. But I'll leave it at that. For that, 2 more streaming shows that I watched. I've been binging. I binged the first 4 episodes of Margot's Got Money Troubles. I'm having a good time with this show, kind of, because it's so fucking awkward. It's basically about a girl who has a baby with her college professor and is forced to take care of it on her own. And she decides she's going to be an OnlyFans girl in an awkward twist. And there's a lot of like awkward things with her parents showing up. Or Michelle Pfeiffer plays her mom very well. Nick Offerman plays her father in the show. He's like a long addicted former professional wrestler, and one of the best things about the show is a very subdued performance by Nick Offerman. So if you want that in your life where he's not playing Ron Swanson, he's not playing anybody of any real kind of power, he plays a real subdued performance in this, and I liked it quite a bit mostly for that reason. Once he shows up, it turned into a better show for me.
Well, I did watch the show, and it just wrapped up, DTF St. Louis on HBO, which had Jason Bateman, Linda what is it? Cardellini?
Cardellini, yeah.
Cardellini, and what the hell is his name from Stranger? Is it David Harbour?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were the 3 leads, and it's kind of like a love triangle murder mystery in suburbia show, and I thought it was pretty good, actually. Like I wasn't so sure, like reading the plot or the synopsis, I wasn't sure, but I really like Jason. I think Jason Bateman's been really good at picking like the shows he does, so I was like, all right. And Linda Cardellini is just, I don't think I ever want to turn down watching anything she's in. So
I've always been lukewarm on fucking Jason Bateman, and I don't know what it is about him. He shows up in these movies like the Melissa McCarthy stuff and the one game night film that people seem to enjoy quite a bit. I just never dug him. I think the reason why I enjoyed Arrested Development so much is because it wasn't just him. It was a ensemble of people in that show that I enjoyed. It just something about him, and call me crazy. I just never liked him. And
Well, that's the thing. It's like I can't point to movies necessarily that like I'm like, oh wow, Bateman was like a great lead, except Teen Wolf 2, of course. But but when it comes to TV shows, like I really liked Ozark, and I really liked him in Ozark. So, and then he was just in another one. I haven't watched it yet, but it's on Netflix, and it looks like some type of like crime drama show. But then in DTF St. Louis, yeah, he was really good. So I would say check that. And it's a mini series, so I think it was 7 or 8 episodes, and that's it. Like if they did another season, it would have to be about like another cast of characters.
I mean, we're about the same age. We grew up with the Hogan family, so I should be a guy who loves Jason Bateman. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm just not that guy that loves Jason Bateman. And it's not in the Teen Wolf 2 thing. I have fun with Teen Wolf 2. People would say, "Oh, that's like the worst sequel." No, I've seen a lot worse sequels to Teen Wolf 2. It's just just stop that right now. Yeah. Jason Bateman. I can't figure out why. I just never felt him. I don't hate him like I hate Thora Birch, but you know that's a deep hatred for Thora Birch. You know, not even the person, like the character she plays. She could be like the nicest person in the world, but you know what? She was a real bitch in Ghost World, and I have a real problem with that. You know, one day we'll do that Thora Birch hate party. You know, just go for it. You know. Oh my gosh. One more thing I'll mention, because I watched this because of the voice actors involved. There's an animated series on Amazon Prime called Kevin, in which Jason Schwartzman plays a talking cat who gets divorced from his family. And there's other talking voices of animals on the show, and one of which is the one only just turned 80, John Waters, plays a gay cat on this show, and Whoopi Goldberg plays the voice of one of the cats on the show. And what really relevant is because I watched Sister Act on Disney Plus because I wanted to remember why I liked Whoopi Goldberg so much, because she instead of being her normal political jackass self that she is now on The View, you know, she actually was making some pretty dirty jokes on this show Kevin about these freaking filthy cats. So I was like, I'm getting kind of the old Whoopi back. So I was in a good mood to watch some Whoopi. You know, I may watch Jumpin' Jack Flash later because I just want to, you know, maybe watch it at work or something, because I want to remember that person that I enjoyed before she got her head of brass. You know, it's just yeah, it's weird. Kevin's okay. It's like the voice actors there: Jason Schwartzman, Amy Sedaris, Aubrey Plaza, John Waters I mentioned is great. A lot of the voices that you probably know, but yeah, as far as like it's trying to be like too crude with the humor and there's not enough story in there, it's kind of a mess. But the voice actors will keep you in it, I think, because I'm a big fan of Jason Schwartzman, and him playing the lead cat is I'm something I'm fine with. Let's put it that way.
Nice.
Movies though, I watched some stuff. I just couldn't tell you what the hell that is. Oh, I watched Johnny Mnemonic for no reason at all on today at work. I just watched that for no reason at all, and I was like, I want to watch something mindless. And sometimes you need Keanu having too much data in his head, like losing his mind, and then for some reason Henry Rollins and Ice-T show up, and Dolph Lundgren is like a street Jesus with a sword killing people. It's just one of those things you need in your life. So if you haven't watched Johnny Mnemonic in a long time, I think you might enjoy this film from 1995. I'm just going to leave that at that, because one day we might do it, you know? Because Dolph Lundgren is insane in that goddamn movie. I love it. Fucking street Jesus. Oh my gosh. But tonight, we're going to talk about two films that were inspired to be put together by another film, which was the Clerk documentary, when Kevin talks about the making this one movie that we're going to talk about, which is Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, where he wanted to make his version of the Muppet Movie. So I decided to watch those two together, And he said, you know what? They fucking fit. So we're going to talk about the Muppet Movie, which is a deep favorite of mine from my fucking childhood. There may be tears during this podcast, people, okay? And Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. And we're going to get into those in reverse order, because that's how I want to do this tonight, because one is more special to me than the other one. Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. We'll mix it up. We're after this trailer.
Miramax is starting production this Friday on Blunt Man and Chronic.
Does it say who's playing us in the movie?
I'm sure it'll be Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. You know, they put them in a bunch of movies.
Jay and Silent Bob are here.
Jay and Silent Bob movie?
There's a movie being made you two were the basis for.
What? And these two guys from Jersey are on a mission.
We gotta stop that stupid movie from getting made. Come on, Silent Bob. We're going to Hollywood.
If they can manage to get there.
How come we ain't getting no rides?
Because you're doing it all wrong. Hey, all the hitches do this. It's the first rule in the book.
Do you follow the book, too? I live my life by it. You live by the book? Well, you picked us up, didn't you? I gotta. All right. What are you doing? Whoa! We keep our eye on the prize and let nothing distract us.
She's a machine. Kind you wanna ride. Feels like a dream.
My friends and I are on a road trip.
Your friends, huh? Where they at? What the?
Watch the language, little boy. There's females present. No!
Is Hollywood ready for Jay and Silent Bob?
Hey!
The real Jay and Silent Bob are breaking into show business.
I hate how fake Hollywood is.
The hard way.
We may very well be dealing with the two most dangerous men on the planet.
Fire a warning shot into his bulbous. Stand there and react. Don't say anything, especially you. All right, people.
That's pretty funny. This was a good idea, Lunchbox, and these outfits were totally incognito.
Hey, they need you on the set. Another white boy in this movie? Damn! Whoa!
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
I think George Lucas gonna sue somebody.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back from 2001. Your cheapo plot synopsis is this. The comic Blunt Men and Chronic is based on real-life stoners Jay and Silent Bob. So when they get no profit from big screen movie adaptation, they set out to wreck the movie. This stars all of Kevin Smith's people in this film. Looking at that right now. Jason Mewes as Jay, Kevin Smith himself as Silent Bob. Oh, who else in this movie? Lots of people. I hate when they do this. Stupid shit. His wife, Jen Schwalbach, shows up in this movie as one of the Diamond Thieves, along with Eliza Dushku. And the still smoking hot Ellie Larder. She's, if you haven't watched Landman, people, just look at her now. She is aged like a fine wine. The great Shannon Elizabeth as the fourth one in that mix. And then a bunch of other folks that show up in this film that you may know, Jeff Anderson and Brian O'Halloran, of course, as Randall and Dante, respectively. Jason Lee shows up in this film as Brody and Banky. Ben Affleck shows up in this film as himself and Holden. The great George Carlin shows up in this film. So many people to get into. Will Ferrell, of course, shows up in this movie. You guys scroll on the list because it doesn't tell you right away, you know, all the people. Judd Nelson shows up in this movie as a sheriff. He's great. Dietrich Bader makes his BUSQ Universe debut. And what a wonderful role it is as security guard at Miramax. And I will say now, one of the best unsung Batmans that there is. If you haven't watched Batman the Brave and the Bold, him and Will Arnett from Lego Batman, those are the two guys who got the joke. I'm gonna put it that way. If you haven't watched both those things, you need to fix your life. That's all I'll say about that. Yeah, great cameos. Mark Hamill shows up. If you guys don't know, right around this time, editor of Marvel Comics, Joey Quesada, is going to get fucked by Elijah Dushku apparently in this movie. And you know what? He shows up as a pizza guy in this movie, and he's that guy. You know, I love Joey Q. I've had some great conversation with him at Comic-Con. But yeah, lots of folks in this movie. Yeah, the plot synopsis is what it is. You know, it's meant to be like the super film, the end all. If you watch the very end of the film through the credits, it has Alanis Morissette as Jesus closing a book, which means to say this is the end of this cycle of films, and it is for a while. But I'm going to get to the talking points of this film with my co-host here, and kick it to you, Mike, first. Thoughts and whatever on Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
All right, so this, I'm trying to think. Did I see? Yeah, I think I saw a couple Kevin Smith movies in the theater before this. I remember when this movie got announced, I was kind of like curious because to me, like up to now, Jay and Silent Bob were mostly kind of like side characters. They were like the two goofballs that you would expect to show up in a Kevin Smith movie for like a scene or two, say like their Jay and Silent Bob lines, and then kind of like disappear from the story or plot, maybe come back around at some point, but they were never like a major part. So I was like wondering, how are you going to have them anchor an entire movie? Well, what do? You put them in a movie with an ensemble cast on a road trip where like every 5 minutes they're running into like other characters to help push the movie and make it interesting. And as a fan of just like movies overall, just kind of point to the screen with your friends like, oh, look who showed up. It's interesting that Kevin Smith says he made this to make his own Muppet movie, because you can totally kind of see it in the style of the road trip of their going to save something, or not necessarily save, but like track something down to make claim to. And overall, yeah, I think it's a fun movie. And it's weird because at the time it almost was made like as a fan of kind of like the Kevin Smith universe, or I don't know if that's the right thing to call it, but at least his filmography and world, because the we've view as characters. I will say it does feel very of its time. Like that, I kind of feel like Kevin Smith's like 90s movies, they do have like a 90s timestamp, but I think that's just because he is big on like pop culture stuff in his movies, and the script with references and settings and characters and all that stuff. So, I mean, in that sense, you could say it has a timestamp on it somewhat, but overall, been a fan, remain a fan. And what might surprise you, I haven't seen the other one. What that because there was like one from a few years ago, right? Another Jay and Silent Bob like reboot something or other. I still haven't seen that one, not on purpose, but I didn't see it when it came out, and then it just kind of one of those situations where it just kind of fades into the background, and before you know it, years have gone by. And I'll let you guys let me know what you think about that one, maybe as a side note, and if I should check it out. But yeah, overall, a fan of this one. I mean, we'll get into it more in a bit.
It ain't got the emotional heft of like Clerks 3, where, you know, when Clerks 3 came out, I didn't think I needed it in my life. But when you get to watching Clerks and you get to the end, you're like, well, I guess I need Clerks 3 in my life. It doesn't have that emotional heft to it as like Clerks 3 has, you know.
I think that because Mike is now a parent and wasn't a parent when the first Kevin Smith movies were coming out, I think it might actually speak to him a little bit more than it might have spoken to us. I love it. I think the reboot is great. I think it was so much better than it even should have been. I do agree that Clerks 3 is spectacular and definitely, you know, a much more emotional film. But I thought Jay and Silent Bob reboot was still really, really good. And like I said, if you're a parent now and you weren't in the 90s, then it's almost essential viewing.
Well, yeah, I enjoy it. Not like I enjoyed the 4:30 movie. If you guys watched that,
right? Mm-hmm.
That gave those kids a chance to shine and kind of let his people be on like the sidelines, and I appreciated that about that movie. Venom, your thoughts are.
Okay, so I got to give a little bit of history first. I adore Kevin Smith. I fucking love him more than any human probably should. I honestly think that his first 4 films are absolute genius. Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma. And honestly, in my opinion, I think Dogma is damn near a masterpiece. But obviously, we're not talking about Dogma today. So after those first 4 films, not right after, but, you know, a few years after, then we get the Jay and Silent Bob movie, or Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And I gotta say, I didn't like it when I saw it in theaters, believe it or not. Not to say that I hated it. I just thought that it was too much Jay and Silent Bob. Like, at the time, I was a huge fan of Jay and Silent Bob, but it was kind of like Saturday Night Live actors for me. I like them in small doses, but once they actually anchor a film, I'm not always the biggest fan. And that's kind of how I felt about Jay and Silent Bob after watching it the first time in theaters. Now, fast forward, you know, over 20 years, and it has slowly grown on me. And that's mainly because of kind of the place in history that this movie has. This movie created so many Jay and Silent Bob isms that, you know, the movie has become over the decades endlessly quotable. From the songs that are sung in the movie to obviously iconic lines throughout the movie, it became, I warmed up to it. Let's just say that. And I remember a big part of why I didn't like it the first time as well was because of the jewel thieves, the 4 girls. I just remember thinking, they only put these girls in the movie because they look good. Because I honestly, after one watch in the theaters when it was new, I thought it was a completely wasted storyline. I'm like, oh, they had to tack something onto the movie to get Jay and Silent Bob to Hollywood and make it somewhat interesting. But like I said, over the years, I've warmed up to it. I actually think Shannon Elizabeth is hysterical in this movie. Like I said, I've warmed up to almost everyone in the movie. I think Jay and Silent Bob both do a great job, or should I say Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith both do a great job in this one. And watching it last week for this show, it was an absolute pleasure. I mean, the entire hour and whatever minutes this movie is, I just had an ear-to-ear grin on my face. And honestly, I hadn't watched it in probably close to 10 years. But watching it with Mrs. Venom, and who is also a huge fan of Kevin Smith. We've actually met Kevin Smith multiple times. Obviously, we live out here in LA. I got to talk to Kevin Smith. I actually got to smoke with him after the Clerks 3 premiere out here in LA. That's a whole nother story that I'll hold on for another time. But yeah, just great guy, Kevin Smith. I mean, one of the most, probably the celebrity that adores his fans the most that I've ever met. I'm sure there's other celebrities that love their fans more, but of the celebrities that I've met, man, Kevin Smith will take all the time in the world to talk to his fans, to the point where once I mentioned Kevin Conroy and how he's my Batman as well, because Kevin Smith famously says that Kevin Conroy is his Batman and he's my Batman as well. And as soon as I said that, he literally pulls out one of his gigantic joints and lights it. And we just start having just this, great exchange of stories about the man, about the first time we heard his voice as Batman, what it meant to us. And at the time, Kevin was still with us, but his health was failing. So, the end of the conversation did get a little sad because we all kind of knew the end was near. And as it turns out, he ended up passing away less than 3 months after this evening, that particular night. So yeah, so like I said, I love Kevin Smith, and I have really, really warmed up to his middle career movies, you know, the Jay and Silent Bob stuff, some of the other stuff that he's done here in the middle. And then the later stuff that he's done, I'm once again a gigantic fan of, you know, the True North trilogy, which I know gets a lot of hate from cinephiles. I actually love all three chapters. I'll be that guy that defends those movies. And yes, I will defend Yoga Hosers. I don't care. I get enjoyment out of it, and that's all that matters to me. I enjoy my experience with it. No, I'm not going to say it's a 10 out of 10 or one of Kevin Smith's best movies, but when you like the man as much as, you know, Mrs. Venom and myself do, it's a no-brainer that, you know, we're going to love almost everything that he does. So yeah, like I said, didn't really like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back at first because I thought it was a little too much Jay and Silent Bob at the time, but I've absolutely warmed up to it, to the point now where it is easily my favorite of the three Jay and Silent Bob movies. So yeah, absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for freaking Moose Jaws to happen. I'm still waiting for that to happen, but
That's
it
right.
hasn't happened yet. But yeah, I enjoy Yoga Hosers quite a bit too. In Tusk, Yoga Hosers, I always saw the camp in it. We reviewed this a long time ago, and I took a lot of slack for liking this movie as much as I did. But you know, I always appreciated the camp in the film, and Tusk, you know, bought and sold, but by Michael Parks' performance.
Exactly.
You know,
that conversation between Parks and Justin Long when they first meet, I could watch that scene ad nauseum. I love it.
And Red State as well. Michael Parks in that movie is just
exactly
him and what's the lady's name? Melissa Leo is great that movie too. I just love watching. If you ever watch this, it's on Prime right now. The Clerk documentary.
Oh yeah,
they have Betty Aberlin on there, Lady Aberlin herself, another person who would make me cry by singing the song to a talking cat. Talking about her love for Kevin. He's like, "Oh, you're in this movie? Well, I was in Red State, and this is fucking Lady Aberlin from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Is so proud of her time with Kevin." And like you mentioned, Venom, it's a testament to him because he is a fans director. I can say that about 3 directors that I've met over the years, and that's him, Don Coscarelli, and Sam Raimi. Because they just geek out just like the rest of us. And yeah, they're must meets. If you haven't done those three people, they're must meets for anybody who wants to talk to a real fans director. Sidebar here. I felt like sitting down on the carpet when I was talking to Don Coscarelli about his unruly jungle cat action in the Beastmaster movie, just telling us stories and stuff about that. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just sit here and listen to this for an hour. It's a beautiful thing. But this film, though, yeah, first time I saw this was on a bootleg VCD, and it was the work print of this and different music. I mean, if you know where this version is, it has the count on the bottom, has additional scenes that are probably on the DVD, and like musical changes, like when Shannon comes in the movies doing the whole sexy dance thing. It's Prince's what is it? The Most Beautiful Girl in the World. They don't play the Bon Jovi, they play that song. So that's a little side note about that. But the film itself, you know, the way Kevin described it in the documentary, like, yeah, he wanted to make his Muppet movie, and that's precisely what this is. This is a film we'll discuss further when we talk about the Muppet movie that's designed to showcase people for like 5 minutes, you know, and you get that throughout this thing. And I love these characters that show up. Carrie Fisher shows up for like a hot second after George Carlin convinces them that to get down the road, you know, you gotta know the rules of the road. That includes giving blowjobs for rides. So, you know, he's gonna go down on the nun Carrie Fisher in this movie, and I just can't stop laughing when shit like that happens in this movie. It's just it's so funny. And the little shit, and that's all it is. It's a series. It's a series of situations that I can't get enough of. So it's not really, I could say, because it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's just it also has the ending to which most geeks like ourselves would say, hey, we'd love to do that, to where, they get money. So they go across the country to all the folks that are talking shit about them on the internet to beat the shit out of them. And, yeah, I would go that extreme, but, it's just kind of a secret fantasy, I guess, that a nerd would have to say, you know what, I have the means. Why not go talk shit to people? But like you said, the Diamond Thieves thing, I can see why that would turn you off, but it's whatever they need to get themselves down the road, where it leads to, them having a mishap and Jay finding love, and, that's fine. You have to flesh out these characters more, because like you said, they're only in these other films for it's like side characters, whereas everybody else is showcased more. Now it's their time to be showcased. And do they do it well? Yeah, they do it well, in my opinion. I just if you think that Jason Mewes is obnoxious, yeah, you might not like him so much in this movie, because he's just playing Jason Mewes, who I've met at very different points of his life. I've met him right around here, around the year 2000, to where he was, I think, still very much on heroin, and he was out of it. And I met him years later when he was not on heroin, and just the most loving dude on the planet. So it's just, he's a hugger, man, that Jason Mewes. He doesn't care either, and that's fine. I love the beginning of this film makes you laugh real hard, like the whole origin of the kids on the side of the convenience store and them still hanging out there, and one of those kids is a very young Harley Quinn Smith. I think it's supposed to be the Kevin Smith baby is Harley Quinn in the film, and who also becomes one of the Colleens later on in Yoga Hosers. You guys know that, and I just that whole start of the film sets it up and leads to a pretty amazing ending, in my opinion, to where they have the premiere. More Kevin Smith people show up. You get the great King Mustafa as Hooper X shows up in this film, like you want him to. Scott Mosier, who's like the other linchpin in the View Askew universe, shows up as this Snowball again, and it leads to Morris Day, and I'm fine with that. And other funny shit that ensues in this film, but it's a lot to take in. But yeah, I just I enjoy my time with it. I always have, and it came out at the right time. I was 20 years old when this came out, so I was fresh out of high school, pretty much. Just so my brain was still very much high school based, to where I really enjoyed what I saw so far. I don't enjoy Chasing Amy so much now, but it is what it is. Discuss that in another show too, Chasing Amy.
Yeah, I agree. Also, Shannon Elizabeth is really good in this. I agree with Venom. Like, when I initially saw it, you kind of look at the casting of like all the women is like, oh, he's just casting some hot women to fill in like these filler roles with the jewel thief things or plot. But then when I was watching it for the show, I was like, man, Shannon Elizabeth is actually like putting some acting chops in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back of all movies. Like, she was funny and bubbly and like really good as that character.
Yeah, I think I just spilled the cup is all I'll say about that. That scene right there is beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, Liza Dushku was in her Buffy kicking ass prime at this point. I forget when season 3 happened to Buffy. I want to say 99, 2000, right around there, when Faith shows up, and so she's right in the mix here as far as like still being pretty popular. And I've watched Bring It On probably like 7 or 8 times. I care to admit to. It just shows up in my case sometimes, and I look at her in the cheerleading outfit and get excited. But it is what it is. We do these things. I watched the new guy recently. I really enjoyed Liza Dushku in that too. But But yeah, I'll leave it at that. If you haven't watched it, if you're on the fence about it, if you hate it, I guess you don't enjoy joyous things in your life, like, you know, just enjoying Mark Hamill as Cockknocker, you know, playing, you know, an insane, you know, person with a dildo-shaped lightsaber, you know, willing to laugh at himself, which, you know, you wouldn't expect that, you know, but you don't know a whole lot about him in that sense. But yeah, dildo-shaped lightsaber, bong-shaped lightsaber with the double blade, and pretty fucking fluid, man. I gotta say, Jason Mewes' lightsaber skills in this film, he's doing the whole thing. He's doing the flips when he freaking puts the one side out and he freaking smokes out the other side. I just, it's so fluid, and I gotta say, the acting and the stunt chops are they're pretty on point. I like it, you know. But I like the film quite a bit. I'll kick it back to you, Mike. Anything else you want to say about it, sir?
I mean, I would just say, I mean, obviously for Kevin Smith fans, I don't know what much I have to tell them, but for others who might not have seen this already, yeah, look at it like a Muppet movie in the View Askew universe, because you get returning characters, returning cast, and you get a wacky as hell plot to go with it. So yeah, check it out.
That's a big problem with Kevin Smith films and Kevin Smith fans, is there's really no division there. Either you like them or you don't like them. So I have a couple Kevin Smith, you know, I'm not even calling them deniers. You like what you like, but, you know, they despise him. So I went to Chronicon the first year, and they felt like my people, to where somebody else that might have went to Chronicon, they didn't feel like their people. So there's that, you know. Mr. Venom, anything else you want to say, sir?
I mean, man, I'm not sure what's left to say. I mean, amazing cast, great score, great performance by Morris Day in the time. I mean, at this point, there's almost nothing for me to complain about. Like I said, I had lots to complain about after seeing it once in the theater, but for some reason, all of those complaints have just melted away, and I recognize it for the silly, goofy, amazing stoner comedy that it is. And now I absolutely adore it. So yeah, I've come around.
Nice. Yeah, it's really good. I really enjoyed time with it. And like I said, series of cutscenes that are hilarious. I do agree, Wes Craven. Scream 7 could have used a monkey, because let me tell you, it works so well in that scene in this movie. Just that's Scream 7. It needed a secret monkey in the movie. It could have been Phenomena, people. It could have been Phenomena, but you know, it wasn't. So there's that. Yeah. Gus Van Sant too make me laugh. Lots to make me laugh in this movie. You know, I guess you're no longer that good, Will Hunting. You know. Oh my gosh. It's so silly. But speaking of silliness, we're going to go on the road in a bear's natural habitat, a Studebaker, with 1979's The Muppet Movie, after the trailer.
Now available from Jim Henson Video. Hollywood, the pot of gold at the rainbow's end.
Hey, we're all going to Hollywood. You want to come with us? Hollywood?
It's time to grab your pack, stick out your thumb, and hitch a ride for the adventure of your life.
Hey, wait for me!
It's Jim Henson's The Muppet Movie.
We're moving right along. Footloose and fancy free. You know, I hear this movie is dynamite.
It's a story of the open road where hopeful hitchhikers come by the carload.
One of them?
No thanks. I'm on my way to New York City to try to break into public television.
There's Fozzie at the wheel.
A bear in his natural habitat. A Studebaker.
Kermit guiding the way.
Turn left if you come to a fork in the road. Fork in the road. I don't believe that.
And a roadside distraction named Miss Piggy.
Wow.
Hogging the spotlight. Now it's all aboard. Everybody on to Hollywood! As the Muppets hit the jackpot.
Prepare the standard rich and famous contract for Kermit the Frog and Company.
And Hollywood stars get into the act. Milton Berle, Richard Pryor, Bob Hope, Steve Martin, and others.
Would you taste it for us, please? Excellent choice.
And now Hollywood will never be the same.
Stand by. Here we go.
Now you can own the Muppet Movie on video cassette.
The Muppet Movie, 1979. Your cheaper plot synopsis is this: Kermit and his newfound friends trek across America to find success in Hollywood, but a frog legs merchant, played brilliantly by the great Charles Durning, is after Kermit. Your performers in this film, I gotta say, performers, their voices, the puppeteers. The great Jim Henson, personal hero of mine, as Kermit, Ralph, Dr. Teeth, Waldorf, Swedish Chef, and more. Frank Oz as Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear, Animal, Sam the Eagle, and more. Jerry Nelson as Floyd Pepper, Crazy Harry, and more. Where are we at here? Richard Hunt as Scooter, Statler, Janice, Sweetums, Beaker, Fozzie as somebody else, and more. My favorite, my heart, Dave Gells as the great Gonzo, Suit, Dr. Bunsen, Honeydew, and more. Your Who-Man actors in this film, Charles Durning as Doc Hopper, the also great Austin Pendleton as Max, and then a cast of so many people. I mean, the film starts with Dom DeLuise, the director of The French Mistake, if you will. But it goes on and on and on. Great running gag with Carol Kane in this movie. Madeline Kahn and James Coburn, about 5 seconds of each other, along with the great Paul Williams, who wrote the music for this. Uncle Milty himself, Milton Berle, shows up in this movie. I can go on and on and on with the cameos. The great Telly Savalas. The great Orson Welles himself shows up as the president of the studio at the end of this movie. Richard Pryor, Cloris Leachman. I would do this for a long, long time, so I'm not going to. I love the Muppets. Even the latter stuff. I just watched the goddamn special with Sabrina Carpenter. I watched it 5 times because I enjoyed it that goddamn much. I'm gonna leave some Muppet love to somebody else, though. And I'm gonna start with Venom. What do you think of the Muppet movie, sir?
Oh my God. I can't gush enough for this movie. I absolutely adore the Muppet Movie. This is literally one of my top 25 films of all time. I saw this in theaters when it came out, which was 79. So yeah, 9-year-old Mr. Venom sitting in the theater watching the Muppets. I was such a loyal viewer of the Muppets that I would get mad if my parents let me fall asleep, because the Muppets came on at 7:30 every weeknight back in the late 70s, mid to late 70s, usually 7:30 on ABC. And obviously when you're really, really young, 7:30 is kind of late. So there'd be times where I would fall asleep and I would wake up and the Muppet Show would be over, and I would get mad at my parents for not waking me up. In their defense, they probably didn't realize I was asleep half the time, but yeah, absolute religious viewer of the Muppets. And when this movie came out, I would not shut up until my parents took me to see it. I mean, they kind of knew that they were going to have to take me once that trailer came out. It was literally my favorite property at the time, more than any cartoon that was on at the time, any Saturday morning cartoon, any other kid show, Captain Kangaroo or The Secret Garden or The Electric Company. The Muppets always trumped them all. So I don't remember much about my experience watching this in the theater, as I was 9 years old, so I probably won't get into that too much. but I will get into my thoughts on this movie as an adult. And I still adore this film. I watched it just a couple of days ago in preparation for this show. And again, it's just ear to ear grin from beginning to end. Every single song, I sing along with every single song in this movie. I love every character in this movie, even the ones that we're supposed to hate, the villains. You know, Doc Hopper is absolutely brilliant. Charles Durning is such a great villain, but without coming off as like overly brutal or evil-minded, if you will. Like, he was just the perfect villain for a kids movie or a family film, if you will. Like, yes, he wants to do bad things, but you know, it's not like he would necessarily, you know, kill or do too much bad stuff, even though yes, he did want to kill Kermit at the end, but you know, that's a story for another time. But anyway, the point is, I love every frame of this movie. I love every song in this movie. I love every scene in this movie. And it's not just, I mean, I'm sure nostalgia is about 90% of why I love this movie, but even watching it as an adult, this is a pretty intelligent story for a Muppet movie, something that's, you know, like I said, family oriented. Great story of someone, you know, trying to find their purpose in life, who's maybe no longer happy just living in the swamp and singing about the Rainbow Connection. Just the way that he runs across everybody, the way that he meets Miss Piggy. I mean, this is almost an origin story, if you will, for the original Muppet Show, because, you know, Kermit's on the road and he's actually meeting all these people. I mean, you could call this the prequel for the Muppet Show, because you could look at it as after Orson Welles gives them their rich and famous contract, they then get the Muppet Show, which makes them rich and famous. So, with that connection to the original show, which again, I absolutely adore. I still watch the Muppet Show to this day. It's on Disney Plus. I watch all 5 seasons. I'll just pop on any random episode. Being who I am, of course, my favorite episodes are like Vincent Price, Alice Cooper, Buddy Rich. Just the drum battle between Buddy Rich and Animal is literally historic. I mean, it's something that I talked about for months after first seeing it. It actually introduced me to Buddy Rich. In fact, the Muppet Show introduced me to a lot of these celebrities who, you know, as a you know, 7, 8, 9-year-old, I had no idea I had no idea who Alice Cooper was before, you know, 1979. But then after that, I literally went out and I forced my father to buy me Alice Cooper's greatest hits, the first greatest hits, the one that has all his songs from the 70s, 18, Welcome to My Nightmare, all those big early hits. And I think I wore out the vinyl. Yes, we were buying vinyl back then. And I'm pretty sure I wore it out. I listened to it that much. That and Weird Al's 3D are 2 albums that I remember wearing out because I listened to them so much. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this is going to be just a big gush session for this movie as far as I'm concerned. I literally have no complaints. It's a great story. As I've already said, great score. It's even got some good filmmaking, some good cinematography, some good setup shots. I mean, the very first shot in the movie in the swamp is great. All of the stars. I mean, and just like with the Muppet Show introducing me to celebrities as a young kid, this movie also I think this was the first time I ever saw Dom DeLuise. And then a couple of years later, seeing him in the Cannonball Run and yelling in the theater, "Hey, that's the guy from the Muppet Movie." You know what I mean? So I just, all of the celebrities in this movie, I have a connection to. I love them all. I mean, Cloris Leachman, I've been a gigantic fan of since seeing her in this movie. Orson Welles, I mean, I had no idea. I mean, why would a 9-year-old know who Orson Welles is? He has no reason to know who Orson Welles is. But then I walk away and I do research. And yes, I mean, in 1979, without an internet and obviously being 9 years old, you're kind of stuck with just the library for research. But looking up Orson Welles, seeing his filmography, reading that one of his movies is considered one of the greatest movies ever made, obviously Citizen Kane. And it just got me to really, I mean, honestly, the Muppet Movie might be part of the reason why I'm such a cinephile, because I ended up just looking up all these stars and becoming huge fans of all of them. And it all comes back to the Muppet Movie. To, like I said, 9-year-old Mr. Venom sitting in the theater in absolute awe and wonder at what I was looking at, and just thinking that the pinnacle of the Muppets would be the show because the show was so great, and then sitting in a theater and somehow getting my mind blown with just how great this movie was made, how seriously the subject matter is taken. I mean, ultimately, this is a movie about puppets, but it's still emotional. It's still funny. It's still sad. I mean, all the emotions are touched in this movie. Fear, fear for Kermit and what might happen to him if Doc Hopper catches him, just all of this stuff. I mean, standing here right now thinking about it, I legitimately think the Muppet Movie made me a cinephile. Obviously didn't make me the horror fan that I am right now, but it made me the cinephile that I am. And I will forever be in debt to Jim Henson and everyone that had a hand in making this film. As I've said, it is easily a top 25, maybe even higher movie of all time for me. So just for the sake of not taking up more time than I already have, I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic back over to Gary and just say, I absolutely love this movie. I literally have no complaints about it. So that's all for me for now.
It's funny you mentioned pop culture references being mixed in, like the Muppet Show. You watch Muppet Show and you have no idea. You have no idea who Harry Belafonte is, but you're enjoying yourself. But I think our version of that, and I enjoy the Muppets, all my life, but me and Mike are 90s kids mostly, I'm sure, in comparison to you, you're a little older than us. The Animaniacs were good at doing that. They would mix in Peter Lorre shit. At 12 years old, you had no idea who Peter Lorre was, but he was mixed in this Animaniacs thing. So, yeah. But Mike, how do you feel, brother, about the Muppet Movie?
Yeah, so due to my age difference with Venom, I came to the Muppets a little bit later. I had probably been watching the Muppet Show in syndication. It was still running, new episodes in the mid 80s when I started to get old enough to watch it on TV, but it was probably also in syndication. And when I finally saw the movie, I think similar experience, a lot of actors and actresses that I didn't know a lot about. Again, we didn't have we didn't have the internet at all, but especially IMDb, you couldn't just look these people up necessarily. So it created this mystique and intrigue about who are these people that the Muppets are interacting with? And going back to watch it now, and it's these are the ages of all the casts that it just takes me instantly back to childhood, because this is kind of the age range of the cast that I just remember. It's cemented in my head of my childhood. This is what they all look like. I think Mel Brooks, I'm oh yes, this is the Mel Brooks I remember just from my age group, I guess. And I think that despite being a horror fan and loving the practical effects and how they bring things to life, I think Jim Henson might be my number one pick for who can bring puppets and puppetry to life. When you're watching something produced by Jim Henson, specifically the Muppets, it's they're Muppets, but they just feel so lifelike in their mannerisms and their interactions, and it just leaves you with like a warm feeling every time. Like it's something that if you want to smile, put on something Muppets, especially from the original like run of the show in the first few movies. I remember last Christmas we watched the Muppet Christmas Carol, and it had been the first time I seen it in a long time, and it's just like pure goodness. Like when you want especially in today's world with everything going on, when you just want a slice of goodness, like put on the Muppets. Like anything
it's
from
a
the
staple
Muppets
now. That Muppet Christmas Carol is a staple now.
Yeah, and like when we first got Disney Plus, or when they first added like the Muppets, the Muppet Show to it, it's like, of course, I'm scrolling through and I find the Vincent Price episode, and it's just like amazing. Like something that can elicit the same feeling as an adult as it did with a kid, and of course, like nostalgia does. I'm not gonna say it's absent. Like I can't say it would have the same effect for someone who's too young to have even grown up with the Muppets. But I mean, that's natural. And I think everyone is going to have their nostalgia. Like for people that are younger than me, they will have their nostalgia for like other stuff. But for me, the Muppets and and I still haven't watched the Jim Henson doc yet. And I know it's going to happen eventually. And I know there's going to be feelings had during it, because like I said, it's just, to me, it's just the best example I can think of, just pure goodness in like TV and film and like the arts. And it's, people get into that business for all sorts of reasons, but I think it's safe to say, like, you can point to Jim Henson that got into it just to spread goodness in the world. And I think he accomplished that with flying colors. So I'll leave it at that, because anything else, and I'd probably just be repeating everything Venom said. So there you go.
Yeah, the documentary is wonderful, and yes, tears will be shed, but it really gets into some crazy stuff that he was into before that I forgot about, that I never actually get to watch till later in life, was like the experimental films he did for Saturday Night Live and stuff like that. He gets into that stuff like that, and stuff he wanted to do with cinema, like, make like an all-around theater, like where the screen goes all the way around, and as far as the Muppets go, the first one I ever saw was Muppets Take Manhattan. So that popped up, quite a bit on like the Disney Channel and stuff. But when me and Mike were kids, Disney Channel was the thing, and Fraggle Rock was the thing. So I'd say my first introduction to Jim Henson, I'd say, would be Fraggle Rock. It just was something that was always there, and I watched quite a bit of actually that, and the Muppet Babies, actually, the cartoon show.
Does Follow That Bird count as a Muppets movie? Because I know it has Sesame Street heavy.
It does. It has. Okay. I would say it does. It has like those characters in it that I think. It's been so long. All I remember,
because I think Muppets Take Manhattan is the first one I saw too. It's just that for whatever reason, probably just because of my age and when we first got cable or whatever, I remember Follow That Bird being on TV all the time. It's the first one I saw.
I think it has Kermit in there and like a couple other ones. All I remember is that fucking sad ass fucking bird inside the cage. Like they're keeping him in a cage. I was like, what are you doing, man? There's a big bird. I get real sad, and I got to meet Carol in person. Carol Spinney is the puppeteer for Big Bird, and I felt about 2 feet tall when I met him. Okay, let's put it that way. Like I was that little kid again. I digress. So the Muppet Movie, though, is a wonderful collection of people making wonderful things. I will say that I live my life. I would say, I don't need to go to church. I have Johnny Cash for that in most situations. When I want to feel inspiration, all I do is listen to Muppet songs and get them in the back of my brain. The Muppets and Mr. Rogers, I mentioned Mr. Rogers earlier, songs, I'll play them. And this one has some good ones. The Rainbow Connection, naturally. Starts with that, Kermit on a fucking log with a banjo singing this fucking wonderful song. And if you got women problems, go listen to Rolf play the piano, man, with Kermit, I hope that something better comes along. It hits. And the King song throughout the whole thing, besides the finale, of course, the finale is great. As where they're stranded in the desert and Gonzo is singing about home. I'm gonna go back there someday. You don't know until you like Muppets from Space that Gonzo's from the world, because they never really play that until where does Gonzo come from? What is Gonzo? Until you get to that movie, but he's singing this really, sad and inspirational song about wanting to go home. And you know what? It slaps you in the face with all the feels. And in the middle, a band I live my life by, at some point in time, because they're all different people. Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. I found musical inspiration in all these people because they're all Animal himself is actually a combination between Levon Helm and Keith Moon. They've said this, and Dr. Teeth is Dr. John, legendary blues voice of all time. Look these things up, please. But the movie itself plays like a great adventure, to where Kermit gets an opportunity, and he just starts picking up people, that you love from the Muppet Show and beyond, and it plays so well in that sense, and then meeting people on the road, and the whole idea of crazy Doc Hopper, played by Charles Durning, chasing them throughout the whole film, plays a great through line through the whole film. Him and Austin Pendleton chasing them down. But I mentioned some of the cameos. They're all golden. They all have like their moment, and the dad jokes throughout. At the very beginning, they used it more than once in the movie. And Kermit makes a comment. I guess this is going to be a thing or something in the movie where something about Dom DeLuise says something about finding himself, and he Kermit goes, "Have you tried Hare Krishna?" It's just like it's like a joke that would work then, but maybe not so much now. But I still laugh at it. It's like that dad joke, like the literal fork in the road is hilarious in the Moving Right Along song, and I just love silly things like that thrown in, and I love so many things about this film. I mentioned all the songs are all written by Paul Williams, who wrote many, many songs for other people and for himself. You guys don't know this is Little Enos Burdett from Smokey and the Bandit, who's also Swan from Phantom of the Paradise. He wrote all the music and the lyrics for that. And We've Only Just Begun to Live for the Carpenters. Old Fashioned Love Song for a Three Dog Night. If you haven't watched the Muppet Show with Paul on there, he does it with little midget Paul Williams Muppets, and they're freaking wonderful. Yeah, this film though, it plays like a great adventure that goes to a great conclusion, and again, I'll cry if I think too much about it. Yeah, the whole life is a movie, make your own ending. It plays so perfectly right to the very, very end, and I love everything about it, man. I just turn it on. You guys mentioned the Muppet Show, all these old stars. You guys go to any given episode, and you'll see, hey, this one has I don't know, Carol Channing or something on it, and it's so funny, and you want to explore more stuff by that person. Where when you were a kid, you can give a shit about like Carol Channing, but as an adult now, I think those Muppet shows hit a little harder now because you want to explore more stuff these folks are in. Favorite Muppet Show moments, I will say all day long. Again, the one that hits me in the feels are always the ones that hit the most. And Julie Andrews, Mary Poppins played a lot in my house, so I love Julie Andrews. Sound of Music played a lot at my grandmother's house. She does a song with Kermit or Kermit's son. I forget. I have to watch it again and fucking weep again like a fucking bitch. When I was a tadpole and you were a fish, is the name of the song, and it just fucks Gary up. Okay, it just does it every time, and yeah, that's what the Muppets do to me. Is that and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and I I love so many things about this film. It's hard not to gush, like Venom says. And if you haven't seen it before, and you want to show something to your kids that's fucking wholesome but funny for you to watch, like you say, hey, the kids will enjoy the puppets, but I'm gonna enjoy Telly Savalas showing up for 5 seconds, or I'm gonna enjoy Richard Pryor showing up for 5 seconds, giving Gonzo balloons where he blows away on these balloons, and it's very, very silly. But if you guys want a visualization what it looks like, I'll say with another song title by the Electric Mayhem, Can You Picture That? And that's where I'll leave that and say, yes, go watch the Muppet Movie. It'll make you feel better in all the right places. That's all I'll say about that. Mike, anything else about the film that you want to talk about, sir?
I mean, I don't know what else there's to say. I gush over this. I gush over most things in this era of the Muppets. They really can't miss. I would say if you're either brand new to the Muppets or you just kind of like know it in passing, go check out the archives, because I mean, I think the show is incredible. I think the movies are incredible. And yeah, that's a piece of my childhood for sure. Probably, well, all three of us, it sounds like, and it's getting a ringing endorsement. So, and you know, something you brought up about, I love how they use cameos in a way that no one's appearance seems to wear out its welcome. Like, they get in there, do their thing, and it always feels endearing. They always feel like they're 100% into it. No one's phoning it in. It feels like their love and admiration for the Muppets is as big as the fans that are the viewers. So that's another great aspect to these movies. So check it out.
Cool. Venom?
Man, what could I say that I haven't already said? I mean, absolute classic film, a pinnacle of family entertainment. As Mike said, it entertains kids, it entertains adults. It's timeless. I mean, good writing is good writing. It doesn't matter what era it comes from. And ultimately, if you have any love whatsoever for any Muppet property, and what's funny too is that the Muppet, of all the Jim Henson properties, the true Muppets aren't even my favorite thing, like my favorite piece of content. My favorite piece of Jim Henson content will always be Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. I mean, that's a Christmas special that I watch all year. I'll watch it in July. I'll watch it in October. I don't even care. And once again, Paul Williams music. I own the soundtrack to Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas on 4 different formats. I love it that much.
This is so good. It really is.
It's amazing. And yes, you still get some of the you still get Kermit the Frog as the narrator. So there's still some familiarity to it, but just all the new characters that they introduce, all the animals from River Bottom and Frogtown Hollow. And I mean, again, I could talk for about an hour and a half just about Emmett Otter, about a 50-minute Christmas special. And it's
not very long now.
Exactly. So, but I mean, the Muppet Movie, like I said, just the first foray into the cinema for the Muppets, and it's an absolute home run. Potentially still the best Muppet movie out there. I mean, obviously, and I'm just like Gary, where I enjoy all the newer stuff as well. I thought the ABC series was great. And yes, the recent special with Sabrina Carpenter, I love that too. I watched it multiple times. What's funny is that actually introduced me to like pop music that I don't listen to now. I think they do a Weekend song on there that I had never heard before. And I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. So I sought it out, and I ended up liking the song and buying the album. So, I mean, the Muppets are still... Yeah, exactly. So the Muppets to this day are still introducing me to new actors, musical artists, just people that I know of in passing, But as you know, as the horror movie heavy metal lover that I am, it's not exactly something that I would seek out. So kudos to the Muppets. I mean, they've been introducing me to things for over 50 years, and I hope they continue to do it. And yes, like Gary said, if you haven't watched this movie, I mean, you don't like fun, you don't like heartwarming situations and good storytelling. Obviously, if you've never watched the Muppets, maybe, you're kind of aged out of that Muppet group. I mean, really, seek it out. If you have access to a Disney Plus account, check out the show, check out the movies, and come this December, check out Muppet Christmas Carol. It's absolutely worth it. And also a Muppet Family Christmas, where I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that Christmas special. That's the one where they brought all of Jim Henson's Muppets together. So like all the Fraggle Rock guys show up, the Sesame Street Muppets show up, and then the classic Muppets also show up in one big Christmas special. And it absolutely works. It's an annual watch for me. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to step away from the mic because like I said, I could easily harp on for another 2 hours about Muppet properties, especially the Muppet movie. So yeah, I mean, all I can say is I adore it with every fiber of my being. Loves this movie, and I hope you do too. And if you don't, hey, hit us up on the socials and let us know why. I mean, I love when people disagree with me. I genuinely do. I want to see differing opinions. I mean, if you hate the Muppets, hit me up on the socials. Tell me why. I would love to hear it, So, but either way, love the Muppets, love everything they've done, and the Muppet movie is an absolute 10 out of 10 to me. So I'm going to shut up now.
That's cool. Amidala is wonderful though. I just I adore it. And if you were listening to the album, they made a cover song. I think it's called The Green Album.
Yep.
And I don't like My Morning Jacket, but them doing Our World from Amidala is something special in my opinion.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not as special as the one in the movie because that's just precious.
Heartbreaking. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hole in the wash tub, baby. Hole in the wash tub.
Oh man, grandma's dress, man. Grandma's dress.
I lied though when I said, well, it's probably my second thing to me and Mike can share this. I mean, what a horse to go out on. His contribution to the Ninja Turtles film, the first Ninja Turtles film, is phenomenal. Before his son, got family groups together, I guess, and ruined the second one first. How that goes. All the grit that was in that first movie taken away in the second movie. I digress though. But his contribution to those suits in that movie is wonderful as well. I love this film to death. I can't speak any higher of it than I have before. The emotional heft of it is just it kicks me in the ass every time. Everything about it, and I love Sabrina Carpenter for different reasons. But her being a comedic presence on the Muppet Show was pretty great too.
Yep, I'm a new fan because of it.
so if you like Venom said, hit us on the socials and tell us why you can't enjoy the Muppets, because I think there might be maybe like a little black hole in your heart or something why you can't enjoy the Muppets. It might be a thing. I don't even know, but I'm going to leave it at that and say to seal your black holes in your hearts. I will come back and close out the show.
I tell you, Ralph, there's only one answer to this dog food problem: asparagus. Tender, succulent asparagus.
Well, it may be all right for you, Baskerville, but I like Purina dog chow.
But asparagus is nourishing. It's got vitamins.
Purina dog chow is more nourishing. It's got all 43 vitamins and minerals a fella needs to make him feel all dog.
Ha! Asparagus tastes good.
Purina dog chow tastes better. It's flavor charged. Look, Baskerville, you go and enjoy your asparagus. It's past my chow time.
Make chow time eater time for your dog. Feed him new flavor-charged Purina dog chow. So delicious, we guarantee your dog will love it or your money back.
All right, folks, that's the end of this one. These guys do stuff all over the place, and I'm gonna let them peddle their wares right about now. Mr. Venom, I'm sure you share stuff with Mike, but tell us what you guys got coming up.
All right. Well, Mike and I together are on a couple of shows on the No More Room in Hell family of podcasts. Of course, there's the main show, No More Room in Hell. With a format very similar to this one, where we look at a couple of feature movies for reviews, and then we, have some discussions on news and hot topics, or the burning question of the month, if you will. On our weekly show, which is called Fresh Cuts, we take a look at the newest releases in the horror and suspense genre. The latest episode there, we looked at Lee Cronin's The Mummy and had very differing opinions on that one. So check out that episode to find out who loved it and who hated it. But I'll leave that one alone for now. And then we also have a couple more shows in the family. I am also the host of No More Room in Hell Presents Creature Comforts. That show I do with Mr. Don and Nelly and Derek B. And that is a creature feature podcast, of course, as the title suggests. Our latest episode there is episode 48, where we looked at 1977's The Food of the Gods, which was something that I wanted to talk about for many, many moons, and finally got the opportunity to talk about it since I just picked up the Blu-ray recently. So that kind of helped. And then we also have another show that's on a little bit of a hiatus right now, but I'm always hoping that it'll come back. And that one, of course, is No More Room in Hell presents the Crystal Lake Gift Shop. That podcast is an episode-by-episode retrospective of the original Friday the 13th TV series, which has nothing to do with Jason Voorhees or Crystal Lake, but I like the title anyway. So we're currently on episode 9 of that one. That's the latest episode, where, of course, we looked at episode 9 of the series, Friday the 13th, starring John LeMay and Roby. And that's pretty much everything that we do under that banner. Obviously, lots of guest spots and different projects like that coming up. But the main stuff is always going to be under the No More Room in Hell banner. So if you are interested in any of our shows, you can just look up No More Room in Hell, and all of our shows should pop up. They're all available on all your podcast catchers and even on YouTube. So yeah, check them out.
Yeah. Shout out to a friend of ours, a friend of the show, actually, Patrick Walsh, who does Scream Queens Where Horror Gets Gay. If I didn't say the whole thing, you'd be upset with me, okay? That does a side show on his show called Curse. What's it called? I'm gonna fuck this up now. Curse You Uncle Lloyd or something like that it's called, where he does the Friday the 13th television show as well.
Awesome.
So yeah, you're not the only show in the mix there, but he is a good friend of mine, so I got to give him a shout out, my friend Patrick Walsh, and show both his shows some love. He's just very, very exuberant gay New Yorker who's a good friend of mine. I love that guy. Mike, Venom kind of spilled the beans there. What you guys got coming on those shows?
For Fresh Cuts, we actually have to pick something off VOD this week because there isn't a theatrical release that's at least big enough for all of us to get it at our theater. So that's a mystery so far, at least for the next episode. No More Room in Hell. Currently, we're scheduled for Sunday, and the rotation was my picks, and I kind of went with a theme with all these remakes and reboots, and I guess new visions of a lot of the Universal horror monsters. I went with kind of like bizarro hybrid versions of them. So we're doing Wolf Guy and Frankenhooker on Sunday. And as far as all the shows we do, Venom pretty much covered it. I will say that if I miss next episode or the next scheduled episodes, because I'm returning to the Sin Bin podcast, which is done with the 22 Shots guys, who they do a monthly show for Vinegar Syndrome's monthly releases, where they pick one as the main feature, and then each person picks their own pick, and they cover them, and I think this will be my third time on that show. I don't do it all the time because like I'm not buying Vinegar Syndrome every month like they are, but it's fun. It gets me into like the physical media game some, so it's always a fun time. So that's recording next week, and then other than that, pretty clear. I mean, if I have to miss the next Cinema Beef, then I'll be back on episode after. But other than that, that pretty much covers it on my end as well.
Okay. No, they don't get the podcasters dream and get free shit from the companies like other podcasters do.
That's a good question. I don't know because it's normally I think 3 guys, or actually 4 plus a guest. So I don't know if one of them gets stuff sent to them or not. Because look, I'm not gonna lie, boutique label purchasing these days, especially 4Ks, it ain't cheap. Like, it's actually one of like the downsides to me, like starting to pick up physical collecting again is, man, they're expensive. Like sometimes not even boutique labels, sometimes just straight like studio releases on Amazon seem way more expensive than they should be. But when you go to boutique labels now, it's like, damn, like why is it so expensive? But it'd be nice. Yeah. It would definitely help.
I think our friend Dave Bailey might be getting some free shit from the companies. We'll say, I never asked him about this, but if he does, he does his YouTube show, and check that out because he looks like Freddie Mercury, but he loves horror. Is all I'll say about Dave Bailey. Okay, he just he loves genre cinema, and so there's that. He doesn't like Freddie Mercury though. I'll say it all day long. Goddamn, fucking beefcake. Myself. This show, next show you should hear on this show, it should be a show I haven't given a title to yet because I'm slow on the puns, I guess. But we're gonna do The Fan from 1982, not Der Fan to be confusing, the German one, and the anime film, Perfect Blue. Been a long time since I watched that film. I'm looking forward to talking about it. It's well loved amongst my peers and a lot of people, so I have to check it out once again. Perfect Blue. And that'll be your next show on this show, unless something else comes before that. Sometimes I get froggy and say, hey, let's go do something random. But it happens. But brand new project, not for Legion. This is for another network that I forget the name of, so I'm ignorant of that subject. My friend Bill Van Vagel from the Land of the Crease podcast invited me to come on his friend's network because he wanted a horror podcast. So I looked for an inspiration to do a horror-only podcast, my very first one ever. So I have enlisted the one, the only Big Bill Casanelli from the Horror Mafia podcast to join me on a show that we're calling Chesticles and Testicles. I mean, no, Chesticles and Tentacles. I'm sorry, not testicles. Chesticles and Tentacles. There we go. Just for the first 4 episodes, it's just some of the craziest shit I ever watched in my life. That I want to get into some crazy foreign horror, and if they include chesticles or tentacles, it's going to be done in the show. So, first show we're doing is Lamberto Bava's Devilfish, which has chesticles and tentacles in it. So that was perfect to start with.
And testicles, actually, and in one shot.
Yes. So that includes a dolphin, octopus, shark hybrid, I think it is, in this movie. So it has all those things. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I think it gets a real low score on IMDb, which is not fair, in my opinion. But Devilfish is the very first episode, and we're going to some Cat 3 Hong Kong horror for the next episode, which is a title I forgot the name of, but very fun first 4 episodes coming up on that show, and I'll get you guys all the deets when that comes up. But that records Saturday, and I'm glad you said something, Mike, because I'm supposed to be on the show with you guys on Sunday, so I'm glad you said something about it today, because my brain is dead sometimes. So there's that for the Wolf Guy Frankenhooker thing.
Yeah, when things start getting rescheduled, sometimes it's hard to keep up.
That's okay. I'm glad it's working out. But this is where I'll leave this one. thank you, gentlemen, for joining me as always. And until next time, this has been the Sin Beef Podcast, where if you've got beef, we've got the grinder. See you next time.
Peace.
Adios.
How about a nice, greasy pork sandwich served in a dirty ashtray?